with Hoffenheim and Eintracht Frankfurt. But they know, as their coach Stuart Hall has said, they're going to go into this game hopefully with everyone fit and available so they can pick their strongest team. They said that their confidence was high after the Timor-Leste win. And he said that it's been a real credit to the players who've been fantastic. They've done it. They started fast, they started strong in their game. They pressed Timor-Leste pretty high up the pitch, which was the plan. They won the ball, they moved it quickly. They got into dangerous areas. And they did play two strikers in that game because they needed to win and get goals. Of course, that could still be a deciding factor. And they got the result that they wanted. He is optimistic for the Philippines today and that they have a shot against Thailand. He says it will be a very different game, of course, because they've got some of the best players here. But he thinks it will be a competitive and hard game, and he thinks they are ready. For Thailand, their coach Mano Polking very aware of just how crucial this clash could be. Also cautioning not to read too much into that big win against Timor-Leste. We'll have more on that in a short while. But the Philippines today make two changes. Ian Ramsey, his first appearance in the competition. Mike Bass as well comes back into the starting 11. So the two changes here for the Philippines out of this one. They haven't made many changes in this contest so far, and the big news here, as you can see from the setup, is they are now going to go 3 at the back in this one. They've been playing 4, but here against Thailand, I think they're opting for a little bit more safety. So Sato and Stoidler should be the two wing backs. Ramsey will play on the left side of that attack. The two players that make way for Ramsey and Bass, Amin Nazari has been playing in the center of midfield, and Bienvenido Marañón, their newly minted Philippine citizen. He was playing up front with Angel Gurado. They've decided, of course, that they just want to play the one striker today. The two skippers, Stefan Schrock, who has said that he feels this is the moment for the Philippines. They haven't got a very good record. In fact, they've got a terrible record against Thailand in this competition. Thailand won 6 and drawn 2 against the Philippines in 8 meetings here in the AFF. Now for Thailand, it is just the one change from the side that thrashed Myanmar. So in comes the attacker, Supachok Sarachat, the number 7 there. Otherwise, they are as you were. They didn't make many changes in this tournament so far. They've been very comfortable with what they've got. They have brought in Philipp Rohler from Germany, and that change, as you can see, Supachok will be partnering Tirasin up front on that right-hand side. Last time out, it was slightly different in how they were set up with that man there. Supachai Chaided, number 22, he played on the left-hand side of attack. But Tirasin was the man of the moment. They have got plenty of talent that they can bring on for this tournament and for this match in particular. A big task here for the Philippines. It would be a historic win to beat Thailand in the AFF. So unprecedented territory. Manapokeng, as I said earlier, had a bit of a dig. It's been quite refreshing in this tournament because the coaches haven't been always complimentary of the opposition. I know that's the normal vanilla thing to say. We respect the opposition and they're a good team, and etc., etc. Qasim Al-Hatmi of Oman is in charge of this one. Could be a feisty one for him. But yeah, Polking was saying, let's not get too excited about the Philippines beating Timor-Leste. It was an important game for them, but they played a Timor-Leste side with many changes, and they didn't impress him, especially because Timor-Leste didn't bring on their main players until the second half. So having a nice little dig there at the Philippines. We've seen that as well in the other group, with Laos being on the end of some criticism. The Philippines to get us going here in the national stadium. Waiting for everything to be absolutely synchronized. Here we go then. Angel Girado. And the crowd, whatever the numbers in here, making their presence felt. An absolutely crucial game for the Philippines. One in really, they can't afford to drop points today if they want to have a safe and secure way of getting through to the semi-finals. A win would put them on 6 points. They'd be tied with the Philippines, sorry, with the Thailand and Singapore. And Singapore, remember, have got Timor-Leste after this. A game in which you'd have to say they're more than likely to win. And that would make things tricky then for Philippines and Thailand. Singapore would be pretty much guaranteed going through. That's put out of play by Aguinaldo. So it's a 3-man defense today for the Philippines. Not something they have played with much at the AFF before. Certainly not in this edition. We've seen Singapore also change things up. Ironically, against the Philippines, they played 3 at the back to pretty decent effect. Manuel Beer goes back to Chachai, the goalkeeper. Touch on by Tirasin, who's looking today to become the highest ever goal scorer in AFF history. He's on 17 goals. Here he is. Put in by Tiraton. Part of that overseas contingent who came a little bit late to the tournament, along with Chanatip. Actually arrived on the first day of the Thailand's maiden match in this competition, but they played the day before in Japan. He played about 82 minutes on Saturday for Yokohama F. Marinos, a team that finished 2nd in the J-League. Here's Sarach. What you'll find is Chanatip at times will just drop a little. He's at the tip of this diamond. Flits between the lines. Such a superb player to watch in full flow. Kritsada, then to Tiraton, now to Supachok, who for now is also moving from side to side. Give him a bit of a license as well. Polking's only been in charge for a very short time. This is his first tournament, having taken over the Thai national side. He has had issues in the squad. I mentioned earlier that Philipp Roller has joined from Germany. He's not in the squad today. Obviously, must have been still obviously recovering from that trip. But he has lost 2 members of his squad. Kawin, the goalkeeper, has a family issue, left the squad. Jonathan Kemdi, unfortunately, has a pretty unfortunate time here in Singapore. Spent some time in hospital. And he was feeling dizzy in training. That is away by Bas. Here's Aguinaldo. And so he has returned. Plays for Odense in Denmark. So he has returned to his team to recover there. So at least they've got a Roller as company to replace. Another one of their naturalized players. Gets it away, Aguinaldo. Reichelt was making a nice run on that right-hand side. Trying to get involved there, Schrock. Foul on Chanatip. He plays a pivotal role today, Stefan Schrock. Hansen just making sure all his defenders know what they have to do. Keep that line as well. Tiraton out wide. Here's Kritsada. Straightforward shot to the Pascal's custodian. Timed that run really well. The angle never in his favour. Here's Tiraton. Well, he was shepherding that ball out, wasn't he? Aguinaldo, a little shove in the back, which you can hear Hall taking exception to that. Supachok. He's a much, much smaller man than Aguinaldo. Not sure why he's fallen awkwardly, perhaps. Didn't look anything too untoward in that. Supachok scored in that game against Myanmar, rewarded with a place in the starting 11. Stuart Hall, who has come in because Scott Cooper couldn't start with the squad. He was very optimistic here, I have to say, Stuart Hall. The chances. He was also talking about the players' familiarity with the Thai players, because there are 7 players in the Philippines squad who play in Thailand. Ingreso, Ramsey, Sato, Aguinaldo, Reichelt, Shipman, the goalkeeper, and Stoibel. So he does think it's a bit of an advantage. You can lean on some of that local knowledge. And of course, he's also the first timer in Southeast Asian football scene. So he does regularly consult with these players. Here's Kritsada. So it's interesting here just to see what the Philippines are doing. They've put Reichelt as the right wing back instead of Stoibel, which would have been the conventional thing to do. Daisuke Sato is the left wing back, which is the logical solution there. What they've got is Stoibel in the center of midfield with Ingreso. And Schrock has moved further up the pitch with Guirado and Ramsey. A little unusual for Ingreso, who's normally in that right back or right wing back position. And Reichelt, of course, we know is an able attacker. Scored in that last game as well, Reichelt. Tiraton. Put in by Chanatip. Easy take for Hansen. Here is Reichelt. It's too much on that ball for Stefan Schrock, who, a long hard look at his right wing back. Both German born, Schrock and Reichelt. Pitiwat. A little bit less than a diamond today than we saw against Myanmar. For Thailand, Sarach. Narabadin gets the cross. Still alive here, they recycle the ball. Thailand out wide from Tiraton. Nihol, just his second match for his country. Scored on debut. Gets it away. Here's Tiraton. Reichelt having to do a fair bit of defensive work at the moment than he's normally used to, perhaps. Philippines haven't really got into the opposition half yet, but they've not really been under tremendous pressure either, to be fair. There's Guirado. Chachai decides to intervene. No real shots yet. But the possession is 80% with Thailand at the moment. So they're very comfortable. There's Sato, scoops that up towards Ramsey. Over the top for Ramsey. Can he keep that in? He does. He's done really well here, Ramsey. Can he get the cross in? He does as well. Manuel Bear, not a great headed clearance from him. Better from the Philippines going forward, and that is clumsy from Stoibel. He clatters into Tirasin. Oh, and he gets a yellow card as well. Early booking here. Yeah, it was clumsy, wasn't it, Stoibel? Forward by Kritsada, looking for Tirasin. I don't think they'll mind those sort of long balls, Philippines. Ingresso, trying to fight his way out of trouble there. Aguinaldo, who's been a constant at the back. He's played all 3 games. He's the only centre-back to have done that so far, and more on that in a short while as Ramsey comes forward on that left-hand side for the Philippines, looking for Guirado. What a fantastic clearance from Kritsada, just kind of rebounded off Guirado, didn't it? That was a slightly nervy moment for Thailand. Not a convincing way to get the ball away from Kritsada. Thailand have got their 2 easiest games out of the way, Myanmar and Timor-Leste. And has been a little bit said about, perhaps, first of all, the slightly unconvincing nature of the first game. That falls to Supachok. And the second game they had, of course, they were fairly comfortable in the end, but could they have got more out of it? Never always easy, never easy to satisfy fans. Yes, Pitiwat. Narubadin. Look where Tiraton is. Does that quite a bit, doesn't he? Comes, drifts infield. Tiraton! Shot comes off Ingresso. Sarach. Possession has come down a little bit, still about 70%. Thailand. It was 80% a short while ago. They're keeping a close eye on Tirasin, aren't they? That was Aguinaldo. Just going back to that point about the rotation. Nihom came into the Philippine side in that last match against Timor-Leste, celebrated his debut there. Towering head in the 45th minute. That was goal number 5 against Timor-Leste. There's the possession, it's going up again. Replaced the youngster Justin Bass in the heart of defence. After a slightly nervy start, perhaps. Went on to play pretty well. And Hall was talking about the rotation, that he wanted everyone to be ready for this Thailand game because he knew it was going to be a big game. So he wanted Jesper Nyholm to get some time on the pitch. It's a good call, knowing that they probably had to play with 3. Ramsey can't keep that in. Well, it's a good choice, I think, by Hall to do that. All 3 have had some pretty good game time. Overran it there. Did say there were no issues with Bass, just necessary to give Nyholm some minutes, and he's got 4 centre-backs to choose from. He said they're all ready to go, so he's very pleased about that. Ball comes in from Sarach. Girardo did well to try and get that away from Beer. Manapulking. No, he has to be a patient man a little bit today. I think he's been clear that perhaps Thailand have not quite been at their very best. They don't need to be. Tournament football isn't about how you start, of course, it's how you end. They've got 2 wins out of 2. Not many sides can say that so far. Indonesia, Singapore, Vietnam and Thailand are the only sides that have done that. And it could be the first side to get 3 wins out of 3 here today. Here's Kritsada. Now wide to Tiraton. Charatip drops a little bit, as we've seen him do before. Out wide to Tanawat, who's the next big thing for Thai football with Leicester City. Not made a first team appearance yet, but already catching the eye. Tanawat, born in Thailand, grew up in France, youth player at Nancy. Straightforward for Hansen. As a previous under-17 international, Tanawat. They're taking the chance to play for Thailand. Forward by Aguinaldo. Girardo heads down for Reichelt. He's never going to get there. So, as things stand, very straightforward in this scenario. Thailand would have 7, Singapore 6, and Philippines with 4 points. What they would then need to hope for is Singapore perhaps to do them a favour in the last game. Because we're assuming, of course, that Singapore would win against Timor-Leste. It's a bit better from Philippines as they went forward there. Yeah, if you will assume fairly safely that Singapore would beat the Philippines, they're on 9 points this evening. As we look back at Reichelt, first real attacking move from him. Felt there was a foul on him from Tiraton. And actually, he might have had a point, you know. A late challenge on him from Tiraton. Just going back to that, if Singapore win tonight, they're on 9 points. It would be 4 for Thailand and 4 for Philippines, 7 for Thailand if it ends in a draw. And therefore, Philippines would need Singapore to beat Thailand, and then they of course have to win against Myanmar and have a decent win and go through on goal difference. Long way from that at the moment. Here's Supachok. Now getting a little excited. Chanatip. No foul, stays on his feet. Tries to thread that through for Tirasin. That's good defending, Nihom, who plays his club football Denmark. Now chance here. Just couldn't get the ball from out of his feet. Chanatip. I'll just correct myself. Nihon plays in Sweden. It's a delightful ball out to Ramsey. Ogirado's waiting. Ramsey doesn't deliver yet. Here comes Reichelt. Just showing a little bit more going forward. Now Schrock. Just dinks that over. That is sails over Girado and Ramsey. So Chanatip looks to the skies, or the roof at least. Nice touch on from Tirasin. Could he have taken the shot earlier? He had a glorious opportunity in the last game against Myanmar where he tried to be perhaps a little too cute to try and chip the goalkeeper, and that is pretty decent defending again from the Philippines and Justin Bass to get the ball away. Really had too many chances yet for either side. Philippines certainly haven't tested Chacha yet. Aguinaldo. He had that awkward fall, remember, right at the start of this game. Now it's his knee. Certainly don't want to be losing their mainstay defender. Checking on Aguinaldo, seems to be okay. Six-year-old Aguinaldo plays for Nongboa Pichaya in the Thai league. And there are very few in the side born in the Philippines. Here's Chanatip. Tiraton with the ball in, what a goal! Oh, that's brilliant! And Tirasin Dongda not only opens the scoring for his side, but he now becomes the record goal scorer in AFF Suzuki Cup history, with 18 strikes to his name. But it was an excellent goal, wasn't it? The ball whipped in, a little bit of luck there. Poor from Reichelt. He took that so well on the half volley. Great ball in from Tiraton. And he absolutely smashed that into the corner. There was no chance for Kevin Hansen. And Bass muscled off the ball. Couldn't do much about that. So a little bit of history there for Tirasin Dongda, his third of the tournament, but now his 18th goal in this competition. For Tirasin Dongda, he now surges ahead of Singapore's Noor Alam Shah, who I think will be in the stadium a little bit later, I'm sure, to watch Singapore. Some great names in this all-time scorers list as Tiraton gets that away. Noor Alam Shah we mentioned, Warawut Srimaka from Thailand, Lê Con Vinh, bit of a legend in Vietnamese football, Lê Hyun Duk, another one, Kurniawan Yulianto, Bang Bang Pamungkas, Kyatisuk Sianamwang. Agu Kazmir is there from Singapore. Khairul Amri with 10. Another player who's in this Thai squad. He's got 10 goals. Not really had 8 of them in the last tournament, by the way. 30 years of age, Adisak, so he's hoping he'll get a bit more game time here. Here's Supachok. They've got problems here. Philippines and Stuart Hall. The Philippines win, as I mentioned earlier, is a very straightforward equation then. They are out of the competition. Look at the amount of space there was. That was another good chance from that left-hand side. Tirasin, because it didn't come at pace to him, couldn't generate the power in that shot. The ball rolled across to him from Pitiwat. Here he is again. It's another delightful ball, isn't it? They're still at about 70-odd% possession here for Thailand. Now Tiraton. Away by Nihom. Chanatip just loves his little pockets of space, doesn't he? Triangles now from Thailand. Pitiwat. Just banging the ball back and forth between him and Tiraton. Superchok showing a little too much of it, perhaps. Narubadin. Now Tanawat. Very, very comfortable at the moment for Thailand. He'll be absolutely delighted with that, Mano Polking. Tirasin Dangda, what a great strike from him earlier, and another fantastic chance. Didn't take it to increase that tally of his. 33 years of age. Polking said he's one of the best players he's ever coached. And he thinks his quality is even better now than it used to be, and he's even more experienced. Polking actually said he was joking with Tirasin, saying he's not that young anymore, but at least he still has the quality. So he always gets into good positions. Here's Chanatip. Straightforward for the keeper there from Tirasin, and flag goes up. It won't count the goal from Pitiwat. Did go up much before that strike. Clearly offside there, wasn't he, Pitiwat? Well, now Tirasin. Yeah, just going back to that point about Mano Polking, and he said that he's so complimentary of Tirasin and what he's done. Always in a good position to get the chances, can play as a pivot striker, he's a clinical finisher. And yeah, throughout all of that, and he's a legendary striker really in Thailand, he's known for his humble demeanour. And true to form, he was very quick to play down the fact that he was on the cusp of a milestone achievement. So he's very honoured to be sharing the title with Noor Alam Shah. Of course, this is before he scored the goals today that takes him past Noor Alam Shah. He said he thought he would never ever get to that point, that record, from the start, that time that he started playing in this competition in 2008. That's how far back he goes. Of course, quick to play that down. Ever the team man, says it's not the most important thing. He just wants to get the win because they want to go on and win this. And Thailand have made no bones about getting themselves back up to the top of the ASEAN tree by winning this competition. Manapulking has said that. He's made it clear. They want to bring the trophy home. They are the record winners of the AFF Suzuki Cup. 5 times champions. 3 times runners-up. 1 semi-final, 1 4th place. Only twice have they gone out of the group stages. A foul there by Girado on Kritsada. Or rather on that by Stoibel. That was Girado in the end. A little bit clumsy from the striker. He's not really had much service today. Just haven't been able to get to that final third. Haven't been able to get hold of the ball. A couple of times they've gone forward, but not really causing any problems. This might be an opportunity. Here's Girado. He sees Reichelt ahead of him. Back to Girado. Held onto the ball there. Oh, that shot I don't think was ever on, was it? Well, Hall will look at what he's got. Maybe Bianfine Marignon might be another one he looks at. It was a nice little run there from Niehold. Marauding centre-back. There's Tanawat. Too much on that from Tanawat to Supachok. The 1-0 will do Thailand very nicely. Stuart Hall as himself had talked about that. He said nothing less than a win will do. Knowing the head-to-head. Yes, Schrock and Tiraton having a bit of an argument here. The referee going to call them for a little chat. Doesn't want anyone else involved. Both of you cut it out. That's good refereeing. And I have to say, I've been very impressed with the referees from the Middle East. Might have been an arm. Might have been an arm from Tiraton. That Schrock took exception to. He's been a bit of the villain of the piece in this tournament, particularly when he played Singapore. The crowd really got on his back. Tiraton goes back to Kritsada. Here's Chachai. We've seen very little action in this tournament, really. Narubadin. Now Chanatip. Philippines streaming back here. Supachok. Kritsada out to Narubadin, who's, I think, had an excellent tournament. Here's Beer. And the freedom of the pitch. Thailand, Supachok. Best times have come on that left-hand side. Tirasin. Now Narubadin. I'll fire that in. Comes off Daisuke Sato. I think there's more Thai fans here today, by the sounds of things. Now they surge forward, it's 4 against 3. The referee, no, I think there was a foul in the process. Was it by Ingreso? He's trying to just bring the temperature down. This is good officiating. You see it's getting a little frustrating. So there we go, a little body check. There's a little battle that's been going on between Tiraton and Schrock. I think he body checked Tiraton there. Still having lots of chats. Oh, gotta love Southeast Asian rivalries. Two of the more prominent players in the region, Stefan Schrock and Tiraton Bunmatan. Ball headed into the path of Chanatip. It's just gone a little wide for him. Narubadin. Tillerson signaled he wanted the ball in from Narubadin. Look at where Tiraton is at the moment. The left back has come all the way in. Does that a fair bit. Has to get involved. Has played in centre midfield in the past. He's got a magic wand of a left foot, Tiraton. Manuel Beer. There's only 5 minutes left in this first half. And it has been a good one for Thailand. Conversely for the Philippines, they have got some problems here, but it's only the 1 goal. So Stuart Hall will feel they're still in this. Yes, Manihom has been part of that 3-man defence. Ronaldo, foul on Chanatip. Hands in the air. Chanatip's not best pleased with that. There's no doubt about the foul. No card for the centre-back. Yeah, Stuart Hall had said that he needed that rotation to keep his players as fresh as possible. In the end, only making 2 changes. He's got to go with as strong 11 as he can. Naramadin made that run on the ball of Sarach. It's Tiraton. Not the best of passes from Chanatip, but the keeper comes out. Now, here we go. Schrock. He's been in the wars a little bit. Him and Kritsada now are clashing. Not sure Schrock is going to escape punishment this time. Tiraton is quick to point him out. It's a yellow card for Schrock. Now, will there be a yellow for Kritsada, his reaction. There should be, really. It wasn't the best ball from Chanatip. Now, to be fair, he immediately put his hands out to apologise. Both players didn't react particularly well. It looks like it's just Schrock who's got the yellow card. He said, I didn't mean to do that. He apologises. I think I've got to say, I think I believe him in that one. It's just momentum that took him into Kritsada. He tried to pull out, it appeared. Kritsada took exception to that. And normally, that kind of reaction also gets you a yellow, but the referee, I think, has not booked him. About a minute and a half and some added time left in this one, in the first half. Is there a little time perhaps for Philippines to get forward, but there might be a card here, would there? No, Sato yanking back Sarach. Well, the referee didn't give a card earlier to Kritsada, so you could argue that sort of evens out. Tiraton to Sarach. Bit scrappy here. Reichelt done well, rolls the ball towards Girardo, though Kritsada will get there first. So just the 1 minute of added time. Chanatip. Now Tanawat. Here's Tiraton. All the way back to Kritsada. Narubadin. It's a nothing ball, really. And that brings us to the end of this first half, in which Thailand have pretty much controlled from start to finish. They've had more than 75% of the ball, and this man here, Thirasin Dungda, we got the only goal in the game so far, and that has also lifted him into top spot for the all-time scorers in the AFF Suzuki Cup. That 26th minute strike from him. Thirasin was in a good position and couldn't put away. They've had a couple of chances. Thailand, very little to work with at the moment for the Philippines. They're going to have to do something quite drastic in the second half, having changed their formation today in the build-up to this match. And it is looking good at the moment for Thailand. As it stands here, half-time at the National Stadium in this AFF Suzuki Cup 2020 match. It's Philippines 0, Thailand 1. The players walking back onto the pitch here at the National Stadium. Thailand 1-0 up against the Philippines in what is really a must-win game for the Azkals. Prior to this, Stuart Hall, their coach, had said in their team meetings after that Singapore game where they lost, which might inevitably be the turning point in this game. That was the very first match of this competition. He said that they had to win the next 3 games. They did that against Timor-Leste. And he said it's not really about winning 4 or 5-0. We just have to win the games, especially this one here. And he said Thailand are good at both ends. Then he said the Timor-Leste one, of course, was a big confidence boost. And they just need to keep winning. It's all about the points, isn't it? Performance secondary, and they have been second best so far in this one. And they did say that they would be mindful of the quality of Thailand. Stuart Hall. Stefan Schrock there. 4 passes, completed 3. A couple of tackles from him, but probably most prominent as the second half gets underway for getting into a few scraps with the Thai defenders. And on a yellow card now. Schrock. Any tackle now, he'll be a little concerned. No, ref. He's very emphatic about that. They certainly already struggling with 11 on the pitch. I don't want to be going down to 10. Thailand very impressive in that first half. Here's Chanatip. Here's Supachok. A block in from Aguinaldo. He's thrown himself about a little bit in that first half, particularly. No changes, by the way, just to be absolutely clear about that. Each side can make up to 5. Thought there might be a chance for Bienvenido Marañón to come on in the second half and partner Guirado. Perhaps a little too early for that, but they're maintaining this back 3 today that they've got here, which is a little different for them. Filipinos. Here's Narubadin. Now the referee just spotted some pushing in the box. That is not a great clearance from Reichelt, but they've got away with it. Here's Narubadin. Now Beer. Narubadin was making the run. Decent ball in from Sarac, if he can just keep it in. It runs away from him. Pretty fast surface here at the National Stadium. This pitch is grown in a nursery nearby, and before the tournament it was brought over from that nursery and rolled out in pieces. Took about 4 or 5 days to put all that together. It's held up well, all the matches they've had, but of course they've also closed the roof. That's easy for Chachai. So there's a different little microclimate in here. You've got to have special lighting. I'm sure there's enough At least artificial sunlight for the grass. And they have, at this time of year, of course, plenty of thunderstorms. It's been a little bit slightly drizzly day today. Very dark clouds outside, but thankfully no bad weather. The other stadium, of course, is Bishan, where Group B has been taking place. There will be one Group B match here, and that is a massive one. Malaysia versus Indonesia on Sunday, and the final day of the group stages. Great ball up towards Sarachuyan. Oh, excuse me, Supachok. Sarach with the ball to him. Titipan. Petiwat, should say. Ingresso. So they've stuck with Stoibel in the centre of midfield and Reichelt as the wing back, who had a lot of defensive duties. Nodded down by Girardo. Not for the first time we see Jesper Nyholm making a marauding run from the back. Schrock. Another one who can flip between the lines if required, given that license. Bass. They never really saw enough of the ball in the first half, and when they did, didn't do very much with it. The Philippines never went under 70% for Thailand. Here's Aguinaldo to Sato. Here's Schrock. Hansen goes wide to Bass. Reichelt asked for the ball. Foul by Sarach. Now Supachok. Here come Thailand. Look at that burst from Tiraton. He was looking to get that back to Supachok. Back to Tiraton. Supachok. Look at the space he has, but it's straight at the keeper. Yeah, he knows it. That's a good chance for Thailand. Lovely give and go. Too easy, isn't it, at the moment? Freedom there for Tiraton on the left-hand side. Lovely play from Tanawat. Up the other end, Reichelt with that last touch. Just the one attempt so far from the Philippines, and that the attempt would be quite generous, really. Have not troubled Chachai at all. They've not had a really high-quality chance at the moment. Tirasin managed to get that away. Look at where Narubarin is. Narubarin! Off the woodwork. Tanawat with that shot. Again, how are they allowed that much space? A couple of good opportunities here for Thailand. Tanawat saw the chance. Shot was on. I think you've got to give credit as well to the goalkeeper. He got enough on that. That was creeping in. Good save from Hansen. We are starting to rack up these attempts now. Here's another look at that for Tanawat. And actually, when you look at that again, it's a very good save, isn't it? From Kevin Hansen, who plays in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur City, a recent winner of the Malaysia Cup. Here's Chanatip. Here's another one with Scandinavian roots. Kevin Hansen also goes by Kevin Mendoza. Denmark. Now Schrock wants some punishment for that, and there will be. Sarac goes into the book. Definitely a deliberate trip. He's been pretty much a passenger so far, Chachai. Could that all change now? We've got Ingresso and Stoibel. Stoibel's taking, if he's going to take this, it's a huge run-up, but it looks like it's going to be Ingresso. Away by Beer. It's a poor ball out from Beer. And Philippines, amazingly, have given themselves a real lifeline through Reichelt. Only their second shot in the entire game, but they've made it count. No chance for Chachai, and the first goal that the Philippines have conceded in this tournament. Well, out of nothing, they're back in this. Poor clearance from Beer, heading it right into the thick of the action. The defender, and it's a nice finish. Kritsada came flying across. Well, Reichelt gets his second goal of the tournament. Well, that is a massive boost for the Philippines. This is what they would have wanted, an early goal in the second half. This has changed the complexion of the game. Thailand, who were looking so good and probably should have gone 2-0 in the early stages of this second half, now find themselves at 1-1. Now, how does that change things? I wonder if there might be some movement in either dugout. But it has brought this game alive. Stuart Hall unmoved at the moment. Might just sting the ties into action. On the other hand, it will also give the Filipinos a massive boost here. because they've just not offered very much, have they? Have to withstand a fair bit of pressure at the back. But it's that man, Reichelt, who talked about in the lead up to this game how he made his debut 9 years ago for the Ascals in 2012. Born in Berlin, but he said he always gets emotional when he puts on that jersey. Says they never really change when playing for the national team. From day one till today, he says representing the country will always be the greatest. He wasn't even sure he was going to come to this tournament because it isn't in the FIFA calendar. Suphanburi, his club. In Thailand, here is Tirasin. An important touch. Now Grinaldo still alive here. It's cleared off the line by Daisuke Sato. That was going in. This is when you can be a bit vulnerable after just scoring a goal. And he thought Tanawa that he might have got goal number 2 here. Just looked back at the line, didn't he? Daisuke Sato. Chanatip. Thailand being annoyed at themselves for having conceded, and it really shouldn't have been such a soft goal to give away. Here's Chanatip. Going back to that point about Reichelt, he wasn't sure he was going to get released because his club's struggling in the Thai league, and even though there's a break on at the moment, which is why all these Thai players are here, of course, they're struggling and they weren't sure that they wanted to release players, they wanted to spend some time, of course, them training. As we see the foul on Chanatip. He said it wasn't an easy decision, but he said after everything the national team has given him, Patrick Reichelt, he felt it was only right to come and help them. Easy one there, of course, for Hansen. Schrock, will he get there? No, Beer is first to the ball. So just to give you a little picture now of how it all works out in terms of Group A, Thailand would be, as it stands, 7 points. Singapore, there you go, thank you, that's on cue, perfect. So this helps me to explain what I was going to say. Thailand at top, 7 points, Singapore with 6, and Philippines with 4. Now, what happens, of course, is we're expecting, you'd have to say, Singapore to beat Timor-Leste. So they'd go to 9. Let's assume that. It would then need Philippines requiring Singapore, wanting Singapore to beat Thailand in that last game this Saturday night. That's the final group game. And the Philippines, of course, would have to beat Myanmar, which you'd say should happen. So the Philippines would end on 7. If Singapore beat Thailand, they'd be on 9. And the Philippines then, it would come down to goal difference between themselves and Thailand. Hope you've got all that. In terms of goal difference, right now the Philippines are doing better in terms of goals scored. Remember, they still have to play Thailand, so they have an opportunity to knock some goals past. Sorry, they have to play Myanmar, I should say. There's still some goals they can knock past them. You would have to say on paper, unlikely that Thailand would thrash Singapore. Unlikely. Many things can still happen here. It's Chanatip advancing for Thailand. Now Tiraton. Takes a shot, but the whistle had already gone. Foul by Tirasin. So long story short, a draw is a lifeline for the Philippines. They're still in this competition, but they would then need help from Singapore. A loss and they are out. A win, and it is very much all three sides still can get through. And we'll come to that final day. To say Singapore in the driver's seat with Timor-Leste to come tonight. Here's Tiraton. Oh, did that go over? Taking exception to Chanatip there. Who, to be fair, does not contest that at all. Ooh, that studs up. And straight into him. Aguinaldo. He's had a few knocks and scrapes today, hasn't he? So, this is an interesting move for the Philippines. They are taking out their striker, Angel Guirado, who's really not been able to get into this game, and they're replacing him with Mike Ott. Now, does that mean Reichelt will go top? Yes, it does. Another one of the German-born contingent, Mike Ott. The Philippines certainly missing his brother as well, Manny Ott. 26 years of age, plays for United City. As we await Aguinaldo to recover, let's just remind you there he is, he's okay. So this was the tie goal, ball in from Tiraton, and what a finish that is. And what a way to score, to make yourself the all-time top scorer in the AFF Suzuki Cup. The history of the tournament, 17 goals. Now, a poor clearance from Beer allowed Reichelt to finish. So now, it is still going to be three at the back, but just wanting to see who the they are still keeping Stoibel in the center of midfield, it appears. It looks like it's Ramsey who has gone over to right wing back. Interesting moves here by Hall. Tiraton looked like he might have a shot. Giving the ball away. So it looks like Ott has gone over to this left-hand side of attack, swapped basically with where Ramsey was. Forward by Aguinaldo, far too much on that one. Just going back to Mike Ott, actually had time with Nuremberg, the second team, 1860 Munich, the second team as well. Before moving to Thailand, Kangtong, and then Ceres Negros United City, also known as, since 2018. Younger brother of Manny Ott, also has a twin brother called Marco. Here's Narubarin. Here's Ott. Now Ingresso. Forward by Aguinaldo. Thailand now, I think, will look to make a change. And it might be the man who's something of a super sub for them, Patompon. I'll just confirm that for you in a short while. Well defended there, Daisuke Sato. They're making a couple of changes. Titipan is the other one. Will he replace Pitiwat? That will be the like-for-like change. Patompon may be on for Sarach. What is Hall going to do here? Thinking of his options. They've taken off one striker. Might they put on another? Bienvenido, that's not bad ball at all. Ramsey goes down, gets the free kick, and a little bit dramatically there. Tiraton not amused. The last free kick they had in that sort of area, they got a goal from. Because of a poor clearance from that man there, the number 4, Beer. These might be slightly nervy moments for Thailand. Yeah, it was that left foot of Tiraton there, wasn't it? Just clipped Ian Ramsey. He's one of those that plays in Thailand with Nongba Pichaya. Kevin Ingresso plays for Samut Prakan City. Daisuke Sato with Supanburi. Just like Patrick Reichelt. Bernd Shipman, the goalkeeper, plays for Ratchaburi. Martin Stoibel with Muangkang United. Remember, these games are on every 3 days. Thailand had a week off after their first game. Philippines weren't involved in the first round of matches, so they effectively had their game off at the start, which means they played 4 in a row, which is not easy. Laos, excuse me, Timor-Leste playing tonight will have played all 4 without a break, and then they're done after tonight's match. That's probably the hardest, but it has to fall on someone in a group of 5. Of course, the format tweaked this year because of the centralized venue. Everything played here in Singapore. Normally, of course, there's 2 home and 2 away matches for each side in the competition, which was played for the first time in the last edition to great success. Ingresso and Schrock, you would think it would favour Ingresso. Shock, of course, has the ability. Sarach lying on the ground. Ingresso. Wall does its job. I think it might have just come off Tirasin. Here's Ott. Now they feel there might have been a foul on Ott by Tiraton. Well, I thought it was an uncompromising challenge, but a relatively fair one by Daisuke Sato on Chanatip. And I think Hall is rather upset with that as well. Just went in hard. Triple substitution. Here's that free kick. It was indeed Tirasin who did his part. So Tanawat is replaced by Titipan. Pitiwat. He's replaced by Wadachit. Well, interesting. Well, they're taking Chanatip off. That was a big move. Star player is off. That's straight at Hansen. That's not the best stop from him, but they're okay. Now Thailand with all those changes. Here's that shot from Wadachit. Really shouldn't have been any problems. Tirasin! Oh, that's a very important save from the keeper, but it's a penalty in the build-up to that. Off the rebound, the save from Hansen. The Philippines have conceded a penalty here. There is no VAR in this competition to refer to. They're protesting vehemently. It's not going to change the referee's mind. Aguinaldo is adamant. There was no foul. Was it on Titipan? We'll have another look here. First of all, what a great save. An important one from Hansen. Oh. Aguinaldo. Does he have a point here? There's that save. It was a little leg out, wasn't there, from Aguinaldo? And Titipan went down. I'm afraid it is hard to see. Whether there were merits in that decision or not, but that's what it is. And it falls now to Tirasin Dangda up against Kevin Hansen. Tirasin! Hansen gets the right way. There was too much power on that spot kick. It's now 19 goals in the AFF Suzuki Cup, but more importantly, Thailand are 2-1 up here against the Philippines. Got something on it, didn't he? Just a little Hansen. Isn't that much time left. Well, will Stuart Hall throw everything at this now? He's only made the one change so far. Will he look to bring on someone like Maragnon, perhaps? There it is again. Now, let's have a look. It's hard to tell, it really is. We've looked at it 4 times already. The keeper of the referee was in a much better position. Now, Philippines have to throw everything at this. They need at least a goal. A little bit surprising that perhaps they haven't made the change yet. I think we're going to see Kenshiro Daniels perhaps come on in a bit. Just seeing a little bit of movement, but we'll find out shortly enough if he is. No, it's not going to be Daniels. Ronaldo still, I think, recovering from the penalty that was given against him. It is going to be Rick Galantes, who's there, one of their young up-and-coming stars. Well, the conventional thinking, of course, that you want to bring a striker on. An out-and-out striker in Benvenido Marañón. So Ian Ramsey is being removed. Eric Galantes is on. Plays with the Ascal's development side. Of course, they've got 9 in the squad. That's the most of any team. Galantes, a very versatile wide man, lots of pace about him. Won his first cap at the age of 18 in a 4-1 win over Guam, second round of World Cup qualifiers. Now, where is he going to go? I think he's coming to join the attack. This is that penalty incident again. Just have a look at Aguinaldo there. Enough of a touch on Titipan, says the referee. I think he was probably right. He was absolutely adamant, of course, Aguinaldo. We're taking this time now. Rehydrate. Don't have much time left in this game, about 10 minutes, including some added time. And it's a very different complexion to Group 9 as it stands. It will be a straight shootout between Thailand and Singapore for top spot. With, I'm sure neither side wants to say it openly, but Vietnam are the team to beat, and you'd rather not have to face them in the semis if you could. Chance here, offside though. Looking across at the officials. There's no doubt that Galantes was offside. They still have 3 more changes to make if they want. The Philippines. Here's Tiraton with a throw-in. He's had an active role in today's game, hasn't he? Ball in. That's a great ball and a good save. Tiraton with that header, and Hansen, a pretty decent save. Header was right at him though. Well, that would have been game over, surely. No, just on his haunches here. Now that's one he would normally put away. Very straightforward for Tiraton. 2 good saves for Hansen in the last 10 minutes or so, and that is the last bit of action for Tiraton Dungda. It's Thailand making all the changes at the moment. And the man coming on is a defender, Yusuf Elias Dola. He's done his part. I'm not sure whether he's also maybe perhaps hurt himself in all of that. Let's hope not. Here's the record goal scorer, of course, now in the AFF Suzuki Cup. They want to get on with it. Elias Dola, 28 years of age, born in Sweden. Another one. A lot of the Swedes in this side, on both sides actually. To a Thai Malay father from southern Thailand and a Swedish mother. 28 years old, as I said, played for Rosengård before moving to Thailand with Songkla, now with Port. Big man as well, that 196 centre back. Looks like they're playing with 3 now at the back. Something a little bit different for Thailand, maybe anticipating an onslaught here from the Filipinos. The Azkals have to throw everything at this now. First appearance for Elias in this competition, only on a handful of caps for his country. They have preferred Kritsada to him thus far. Here's Tiraton. Now Wadachit. Superchok is just trying to get in there. Flag stays down for Wadachit. Gordon Pala, who was very active and involved in that first game against Timor-Leste. He's getting some time today. Didn't come on in the second game against Myanmar. Supachai Chaided will come on. A bad player to be able to come on. Maybe we'll replace what they did the last time, Supachai. Superchok? No, it's not going to be. It is Sarac. Philippines making the changes first. Amin Nazari, another central midfielder. Reichelt, replaced by Bienvenido Marañón, an out-and-out striker coming on in the 90th minute. This feels rather late to be doing all that. We'll see. Coach knows best, of course. The booking in the meantime for the foul on Schrock. Oh, what a chit. Going to take a bit of time. We're going to have at least 3 minutes of added time. And now we'll have that change. It is in fact going to be that super change. Superchok replaced by Superchai. Schrock has hobbled off for the moment to get a bit of treatment. That's a wild effort, a desperate one really. Almin Nazari just come on. Here again, not a great clearance from him. Attempts, only 2 for Thailand, really. I think that is where it has all gone wrong for them. Aguinaldo's frustrated. I think they'll play a little bit more than the 3 minutes. Need to get it up the field quickly. Thailand have been very solid throughout, apart from that mistake from Beer. Trying to get the ball clear. Here's Schrock. Last assault on this goal. Be a corner, I think it's a throw in. Schrock is not moving comfortably, but they have one last gasp at this. The referee has called time, and the Philippines are out of the competition. Thanks to this man here, the hot marksman still from Thailand, Tirasin Dungda. Battle wounds for the Philippines, but it's going to sting even more for them to be out of this competition. And one in which they have been very consistent in getting to the semi-finals in the last few years. 4 in the last 5, but they did go out when they hosted it back in 2016. They co-hosted it with Myanmar, and they will repeat that here in Singapore. They were outplayed by Thailand throughout this match, there's no doubt about it, who had pretty much 70% of the ball almost the entire time. And the goals, the 2 goals from Tirasin, one was a penalty. Some might say it's contentious. I'm not so sure about that. The Filipinos were adamant that it shouldn't have been. They had it at 1-1 for a little bit. The goal from Patrick Reichelt. Things could have got nervy for Thailand, but they looked cool as you like, and they stroll through to the next round. A final score here at the National Stadium in Singapore in this Group A encounter of the AFF Suzuki Cup 2020. It's Philippines 1, Thailand 2. There's your man of the match, no doubts about that whatsoever. Tirasin Dangda, 2 goals, 3 in the competition, and he's now the all-time top scorer at this tournament. I should say 4 in this tournament, actually.
Okay.
So here are the statistics for you, and actually it was a very one-sided game, with Thailand dominating in all departments. Perhaps not many would have thought this would happen prior to kickoff. And Thailand had more possession, far more attempts, and Philippines, of the 3 attempts, only 1 was a threat. That was one that was a goal, nothing else otherwise. And this is how it looks. Thailand are top of Group A. They are going through no matter what. It's now between them and Singapore to see who gets top spot. Philippines are out of this contest. It doesn't matter how many goals they put us past Myanmar. Even if Singapore lose tonight and against Thailand, Singapore will go through on the head-to-head rule because they have already beaten the Philippines. So thanks a lot for joining us here at the National Stadium. Thailand are through, Philippines are out.
Firstly, your reaction to the penalty decision?
No way was it a penalty. No way was it a penalty. I thought all the big decisions went their way. Like first half, when there's a challenge, our player gets booked, their player doesn't when it's retaliation. The big decisions have gone their way. Having said that, well played Thailand. Good team, good performance. They got out of jail with a penalty, but a lot of people might say they deserved it.
And well, you're 2-1 down. Do you think you should have maybe changed or brought in more players?
We did. We've used all the subs. We've changed it, but we've got a limited bench. Everybody knows about how many players we've got missing and the preparation that we haven't had for the tournament. So, when you're looking at the bench, it's very difficult, to change.
Semi-finalists, last competition. Now you're exiting in the group stage. What's the message to your boys and the plan going forward for Philippines?
Well, that's we've got 26 players not here. 8 or 9 of them would be in the starting 11. It's because the tournament's not in the FIFA calendar. We've got more players playing in foreign countries than the others. Vietnam are nearly all home-based. Thailand, mainly home-based. All the others. So we suffer for that. Sometimes it's a big advantage to us. And sometimes it will work against you. In this tournament, it's worked against us because we couldn't get the players released that we wanted.
Thank you very much. Good luck for the last match.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
เกมวันนี้เป็นไงบ้างน้อง
ครับผมก็เกมในวันนี้ก็ถือว่าเป็นเกมสำคัญที่สุดในรอบแรกเลยก็ว่าได้อะไรเงี้ยก็ทุกคนก็ตั้งใจกันอย่างเต็มที่เพราะว่ามันมีผลต่อการเข้ารอบอะไรเงี้ยเราจะไม่ต้องไปเหนื่อยนะสุดท้ายซึ่งโอเคสุดท้ายถึงแม้ว่าโอเคอาจจะมีช่วงเวลาที่ยากลำบากแต่ว่าเราก็คว้า3 แต้มแล้วก็การันตีการเข้ารอบของเราไปในนัดนี้ครับผม
ครับเกมนัดต่อไปครับพบกับเจ้าภาพ
ครับผมก็คงเป็นอีกเกมนึงแหละที่ก็สำคัญเช่นกันเพราะว่าเรามีผู้เล่นมาที่นี่30 คนอะไรเงี้ยทุกคนก็ต้องการลงไปโชว์ฟอร์มในสนามเนี่ยก็อยู่ที่ว่าเทคนิคหรือว่าจะส่งใครลงไปก่อน11 ตัวแรกอะไรเงี้ยก็ทุกคนก็คงพยายามทำอย่างเต็มที่ในเกมนัดสุดท้ายของรอบแรก
ครับฝากอะไรถึงแฟนบอลนิดนึงครับ
ครับผมก็ขอบคุณแฟนบอลอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะครับที่แบบคอยให้กำลังใจพวกเราแล้วก็อย่างที่บอกพวกเราก็จะพยายามอย่างเต็มที่ในทุกๆเกมที่ลงเล่นก็ขอบคุณแฟนบอลชาวไทยทุกคนมากๆนะครับขอบคุณครับ
ครับ
ครับผม
7 there.